Folks Johnson here. We've got the crane fired up. We're unloading a air compressor. Well, I say air compressor. I guess it's a ammonia compressor for refrigeration. And it's not a toy. It's a big one, 6x6. So 6-bore, 6-stroke. And we're fixing to pick this thing up, but we're actually going to weigh it. Of course, it don't have my truck squatted, but we were going to use a Nissan Frontier to go pick it up, and glad we didn't now. So we're going to pick it up and weigh it with the crane because we got to unload it. I kind of got my trailer in the way, so the crane's on the other side of the trailer, but I don't think it's enough weight it's going to matter. So let's see what we can get done here. Said 2,000 pounds, and he was about on the money. He's about 100 pounds short.
Now, hold on. That's the part that came with it.
Oh, that came with it?
Yeah.
All right, so you done took it to 2120. Well, you had a little four-wheeler in the back here too. So. But that ain't too much weight though, not for this. But I thought it was neat. I didn't want it to get scrapped. It's actually a Frick. I'm guessing 30s, maybe 40s. I don't know. Could be a little newer, could be a little older. Got a lot of nice valves on it. I don't know how many valves, but I like the valve handles. I figured if nothing else, it would be maybe an education piece. It's got a gauge there, and then it's got an oil gauge here. And like I said, a lot more levers. Go Frick in them, and you know, it's crazy, but I thought that Frick only made sawmills and steam engines. And then I got this, and then I got to researching and realized that they were probably a bigger refrigeration company because they actually still in business. Of course, they've been bought out, Johnson Control owns them, but they're still in business building refrigeration stuff, and under the Frick name, and I didn't know that. So yeah, they're and they actually at one time built, and it may still be, the world's largest refrigeration unit. And I can't remember what company it was for, Armor or something like that. One of the big companies that sells food. But in the article I read, it said that they had to reinforce the rail system to be able to haul the unit to the factory. So it must have been heavy. All right, so we're about 2,100 pounds on this thing. So we're gonna get her picked up and probably swing it around and set it down up here with the steam engine somewhere for now. All right. Okay, since we got it in the air, I figured this was a good opportunity to show you some machinery grout. Okay, so you can see these wedges, and these wedges were put in before the grout was poured. And they done that to level the machine out. Once they got it leveled where they needed it, then they just poured the grout in and filled it up. And I guess that's how they leveled it out. And that's pretty neat. They just left the wedges in, so they're still hanging out in there. All right, folks, still got the little tractor for now. I've been using it around here, believe it or not. It's not much use to me being a small little tractor, but anyway, I bought this military cart, and this is from, well, it says DRMO on the side, which is, I don't know what it stands for, but I know it's like when you're, we used to go to the DRMO auction. It's like surplus auction, and so this one was painted on the side, but bought this from an individual, but it came off of, I think it come from Cherry Point. But anyway, it pulled down sides, steering axle, got a pull-out step on it. Worked really good for a hayride for the kids for Thanksgiving. Okay, so working on, I built a giant table here, 4-inch thick pine or oak. I'm sorry, just some live edge stuff that I had. Somebody who was giving wood away, and they said they had a big walnut tree in their front yard that was cut down and ready, and I went, and this was it. And of course it's not walnut, it's oak, so they didn't know the difference. So just went on, cut it, and threw it up here. Actually, this piece here I've already put some clear on, and I ran out. I just had enough to do that. I'd done that one a while back, and then I just finished sawing the rest of it and threw it up here and cut some big pieces for the legs, but it's just temporary, something for the kids to play on mainly. But anyway, we're working on this water column. This is for my boiler that I'm putting together for the steam engines. It's just a 25 horsepower Latner, but anyway, we got our tricox, and then it came with this. I've got another one just in case I need it, but the tube looks good, the valves feel good. I think it'll be okay. So now I'm just cleaning it up. I'm going to chase some of the threads on it. I've got to go ahead and get this plug out, and because I don't want to use the back side, I want to use the top side, and just a few little things. So that's something I'm working on to try to get the boiler going so we can fire on steam. All right, picked up a couple pistons too, and this one here is mine, and I actually picked two of them up. One of them was for a buddy of mine, and actually, I don't know why the top ring is off of that one. But here is a 5-gallon bucket, if that gives you an idea of the size of it. So, yeah, it's 12.5-inch bore. That wrist pin is 5 inches. That crank pin is 8 inches. The total length of this is right at 4 foot. All of it together. So. Alcoa locomotive, and usually the pistons are not real hard to find. It's hard to find a rod because they cost so much that they didn't junk them off, and they usually just reused them, and they might would replace the piston and keep the old rod, but this engine got scrapped, and so something to just for conversation piece. Okay, rain's held us off a little bit on getting this roof done, and the cold, of course, but we've got this side just about complete. I got a few more to do at the top on the far end, but we're just about done on this side, and then we're going to get the other side knocked out. This has been a thorn in my butt, sort of, just the fact that it's taken me so long to do it. Okay, folks, we got her unloaded and set up and temporary place. We're going to get her covered up, but what I'm going to do with it, I don't know. I do know that its path's been diverted because it was on its way to the junkyard, so it's definitely not going to go there. And whether it'll ever become anything, I don't know, but anything other than a conversation piece. But like I said, it's just not going to get scrapped. But it's got me sort of interested in learning a little bit about why this thing's got 15 valves on it. I see that it says suction side, discharge side, but it's crazy that it's got so many shutoff valves on it. But and with it being under, does it pump both ways? Does it pump with the piston coming down and going up? Because it does have a port underneath the cylinder. So I don't know, just a lot to learn about it. I'd love to have maybe a breakdown or a blueprint of the engine so I could see how it's set up, but who knows. Alright, so I'm going to show you the boiler that we're planning on getting together to fire some of these engines with. Another thing too is the paint engine. Done a little bit on this. This engine is no longer stuck, and it wasn't stuck in the cylinder. I did take the head off. It was stuck on the slides and on the crosshead, and we've got that unstuck. Got to clean it up and, you know, oil it up good. Got to work on the eccentric strap. The one that came with it wasn't the right one, but it's very close. It could be machined to work. Probably gonna do that, shim the bearings and get all them back together. Someone's had the caps off the mains, and they're Babbitt, so we want to shim them, get them where they need to be along with the rod. But the engine, the cylinder is fine, it's not stuck. It's got the slide valve's not stuck. I guess it's got a piston valve or some sort of a setup in it. And the exhaust comes out the front, and then you just be packed there. So pretty simple setup. We'll eventually get this one fired up. This is a really neat engine. This is probably the oldest engine I've got, 1870s. Okay folks, here's the boiler. This is a 25 horsepower Latner boiler. It's actually, I think if you do the numbers on it, I figured out how to do it by the square footage of heat, but it's 27.4 horsepower. But they rated it as a 25, and it's actually got 25 on it. Now this is a 1988 model, and in really actually pretty good shape. And what happened with this boiler is the guy that owned it owned a steam cleaner, and he decided he wanted to update to some digital electronics and stuff, so they updated the boiler, and his son decided he was going to be the one that scrapped this thing. And it all worked out really well until it come time to move the actual boiler, and then he realized how heavy they were. So then he didn't get to move it. So I ended up with it. Unfortunately, all the other stuff's already off. It's 136 tubes, so that gives for a pretty good heating surface. We have got to hydro test it. It may or may not leak a little bit around these tubes. There's no rust on them or anything of any, you know, besides surface. But so, and it may seep a little around them, but we can tighten the tubes up if we need to, re-roll them. Shouldn't be a problem there. And then the plans down here is this was, I'm assuming natural gas probably. I doubt it was propane, but it could have been. But this does not have water legs. So the boiler does not extend down here. This is just steel wall with fire brick inside of it. And you can see the fire bricks go through. And that's that opening that you see the light there. That is the opening for the fire. So the plan is, it's pretty far across there, but the plan is to, it's already got a front wall here below. We're going to do a back wall here, and then we're going to do a wall on the other side, or possibly this side, depending on which side we want to put our door on. But we're going to run fire brick inside of that. We're going to end up running a grate, and the grate's going to be about the height of where this bottom's at now. And we're going to run a door, and we'll have a clean out door, and then a door above it to put the firewood in. So we're going to change this into a wood boiler, and shouldn't be any issues, you know, as long as you got water in it. It's not going to heat the steel too much. The fire brick is, you know, mainly to keep the heat in, but it's also to keep this from warping. The fire would warp this. It's probably 1/4 inch, I'd say, but I mean, it would warp it if you didn't have fire brick there. So that'll keep that from getting too hot. And we've got to make our ends that go over it, of course. And the water column was missing, so I bought that water column for this. We'll make some caps to bolt on each end, put a stack on it, of course, and go from there. But of course, first is to hydro test. 225 psi is what we're going to do, because the 150 psi boiler, we're going to test it at 225, and then we're not going to run it over 100 pristine. But we are going to test it to full 225. So I had a couple different people have looked at this that know boilers, and, you know, way above my head, and both of them have said that they don't see any issues or any reason why there's going to be any issues with this boiler. It's not going to run our big engines at full capacity or anything like that, but it'll give us a start, give us something to run the smaller stuff on, and the bigger, just at a low RPM. So anyway, this will be coming up here soon, so I'll show the hydro testing and all on it. So, and we'll start getting everything piped like it's supposed to be. I think I was told that we're supposed to have Schedule 80 pipe coming out, and these are all Schedule 40, I believe. So I think if I'm right on that, I may have to change out all the nipples coming out. I don't know why they would have put Schedule 40. If it, you know, if it required Schedule 80, they should have done Schedule 80. But we'll see. But I think it's going to, like I said, 25 horsepower will be enough to run all the engines, not at the same time, but it will run every one of them, or it should run every one of them. It just, you know, like I said, at low capacity. It won't be at full capacity. It would do one of the smaller engines. I mean, I don't see any issues with running one of them at full capacity, but the big engine, the Bates engine, you know, it'll run it as good as it'll run it, and that's it. But anyway, all right, well, I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll try to get some more videos out to you here. I haven't done much here lately, but what I have done a lot of is picking up wrecks. So it hasn't been that I haven't been busy, and you know, I'm not going to complain, because it's nice to be able to make a living in bad times like they are. So anyway, all right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.